Emily was over the moon with happiness. For Christmas, she had received a beautiful long-awaited doll, a blonde beauty in a blue dress, so lifelike. Now Emily and the doll would be inseparable. They would watch cartoons together, have tea parties, and sleep in the same bed as friends. The girl spent the whole day with the doll. They even sat at the table together, and Emily taught her doll good manners. When it was time to go to bed, the girl put the doll next to her on the pillow and carefully covered it with a blanket. The doll closed her eyes. "Good night, friend," Emily whispered to the doll. In the darkness, she didn't see the doll smile at her. Several years passed. "Stop sitting at the computer. Go through your things already. We're leaving in 2 days." "Leave me alone, Mom. I'll have time to pack 100 times in 2 days." The girl fell silent. "Mom, make some coffee." The woman left her daughter in peace, unable to make her do anything. Emily stretched with a crunch and took out a bag. She really would have time to sort through everything. It was better to finish with things right away. The sorting was over faster than she expected. She was old enough now. She didn't need any trinkets. Only the bare necessities were selected: cosmetics, books. The unwanted junk was collected in a bag. And then an old, worn doll in a blue dress with light hair suddenly ended up in Emily's hands. One of the doll's eyes was broken and could no longer see the light of day. "Hello, friend," Emily smiled, sitting down on the floor, crossing her legs, and lifting the doll by the hands. "You changed. Just like I have. Only I've become prettier, which can't be said about you. Why didn't you take care of yourself?" The doll silently looked at Emily with one sad eye. "Don't look at me like that, doll. I'm not that little kind girl anymore. You know, I don't have the time or the desire to carry this around with me. The girl has grown up. There is no place for toys in her life anymore." Suddenly, something inside was touched. "You know what? I've decided you should stay here. New people will move in here. Maybe they'll like you. They'll fix you up. The dump is no place for you, you know." Picking up the doll, Emily brushed off the invisible dirt and carefully sat it on the shelf. "There you go, dear. Try to make a good impression." Emily turned to the trash bag. "Forever, friends." Something broke inside the girl. Of course, it was the doll speaking just now. Only in all these 13 years, she hadn't heard a single phrase from it. She slowly turned to the doll, to what used to be a doll. The hair had blackened and writhed like snakes. Instead of eyes, 2 black holes, 2 bottomless wells. A smile, as if carved with a knife, literally ear to ear. The head was tilted slightly to the right shoulder. "Forever, friends." When the doll spoke, its lips moved in a revolting squelching. "What the hell is this?" Emily screamed. What she saw, to put it mildly, filled her with wild horror. "Don't move. Don't come near me." The doll started to get up. Emily's mom burst into the room. "Honey, what's wrong with you?" Emily rushed to her mother, but unable to say a word, only pointed at the doll with her hand. Yes, an ordinary doll in a pretty blue dress sat on the shelf. The girl gasped for air. She could have sworn she saw a sharp-toothed monster there, and heard it. From the excitement, Emily began to stutter. "Mom, really? It had teeth. No eyes. It growled." The woman looked at her daughter worriedly and stroked her head, trying to calm her down. "Sunshine, you haven't slept for a day, and you were at the computer for a long time. I think you imagined it. Why are you so impressionable?" Emily cautiously looked at the shelf again. The doll sat there, looking straight ahead with its single doll eye, its empty, blank stare. Shaking her head, Emily wiped away the tears. "Yes, something came over me probably. Sorry, Mom. I'll finish up now and go to bed. I'll drink the coffee later. Be careful, Sunshine." Emily nodded, in agreement with her mother. Closing the door, she headed for the bag. A couple more things had been missed. she should gather them too and throw them out. Such nonsense comes to mind. A toothy, growling doll. Funny. They're friends. Forever. Emily gasped loudly. The same cardboard growl rang out. The girl didn't have time to do anything. The doll pounced on her and began gnawing her with its teeth. Young, beautiful Emily, whose life had just begun and ended immediately. And the doll, a beautiful doll in a blue dress, with a blood stain around its mouth. Forever, friends. Forever, together. Lately, I've started noticing strange creaks and rustles around the house, but no matter how I tried to find the source of the sounds, I couldn't. Eventually, I concluded it must be a house spirit. After reading online that in such cases you should leave out a saucer of milk and cookies, I left such food on the kitchen table overnight. There was no rustling that night, but the next I woke up, hearing the usual fuss in the kitchen, I decided to check what was going on. I turned on the light in the kitchen and was shocked. The milk was gone already, and so were the cookies. I turned on the light in every room and didn't sleep until morning. A few days later, coming to my senses, I still decided to see who or what was eating everything. Curiosity got the better of me. Moonlight illuminated the kitchen, and from my vantage point, I could clearly see the glass of milk and the plate of cookies. I've been sitting here for 2 hours now, thinking of coming out already, when I hear someone fussing around in the kitchen. I peer closer and freeze in fear. Something the size of a child is standing at the table and eating. I didn't make out any details in the moonlight. It just looked like a dark silhouette. Startled, I flinched, and the pantry door banged against the jamb. The nighttime guest turned sharply in my direction. In the morning, going into the kitchen, I saw the unfinished cookies. Tiny teeth marks were left on them. To this day, I still sometimes leave food out at night, but alas, nothing happens.